Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope all of you had a very happy new year. Today is January 2nd, 2019. In this video, I'm going to talk about the first big celebrity death of 2019. Today we got the news of Mean Gene Okerlund, longtime WWE interviewer, announcer, and 2006 Hall of Fame inductee. We're being told that he died of a reported heart attack as the most likely cause of death. On this channel, we explore the language of Gematria, so if you're new to this, it's important to understand what we're talking about. First, let's look at the most basic four ciphers. These are the four ciphers that you first see when you go to www.gematrinator.com. On the top left, you have the most basic, simple cipher called English Ordinal, where each letter is numbered 1 through 26 relative to its position. This is the most significant cipher in this murder by numbers / death code that I've been very consistent in revealing over the past month or two. We also have the full reduction method where each double-digit number is reduced to a single digit by adding those digits together. Both ciphers can then be reversed, where Z is 1, Y is 2, X is 3, through A as 26. These ciphers should be considered complementary to the English Ordinal and full reduction methods. And when you pay attention to the values that you get from typing out people's names, and then measure from the dates that we can convert from those numbers to their deaths, we find very significant alignments when looking at, actors, athletes, celebrities, musicians, even politicians. And whether or not people are being murdered by this code, this man was 76. He might not have been in the best shape, so it's likely he could have died naturally. If this is just some code of the organic matrix, quote unquote, that we all live in, either way, it's very interesting. And if it's the former, in which people are being murdered, then it's a little worrisome as well. So we're going to explore how this works. And again, you can check out my website. Please check my blog linked down below in the description. And you'll see that I've been very consistent in revealing how this code works over the past month and a half. So just as an example of how this works, Gematria in accordance with dates on the Gregorian calendar. Today's date, January 2nd of 2019, has standard numerology of 22 if you add 1 plus 2 plus 19. Mean Gene Okerlund died in the city of Sarasota, Florida, and in the reduction method, Sarasota sums to 22. It also so happens that Mean Gene Okerlund was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame prior to WrestleMania 22. One of the most important number relationships are prime numbers in this study. So here we're talking about 22. The 22nd prime number is 79. And the name, as we all know him, Mean Gene Okerlund, sums to 79 in the reverse reduction method. But what's truly interesting about this is how the name gematria of someone's full name can be converted to a date from which we can measure to from the date they died, and we find very interesting alignments. Mean Gene's full name was Eugene Arthur Okerlund, which can be pulled from his Wikipedia page, as well as a couple other public sources. The most significant cipher when we're talking about this methodology is English Ordinal, but reverse Ordinal does come into play as well. So for the sake of this post, we'll begin with the reverse order, where we see 297. There's one date that we can extract from the number 297. That would be 29/7, or July 29th as it is written internationally. If we measure from the date written 29/7 to the date that Eugene Arthur Okerlund died, we get 157 days. Using the standard alphabetic order, the name Eugene Okerlund equals 157. This number can also be converted to one date. That would be 15/7, or the 15th of July, as it's again written in most parts of the world. If we instead measure from July 15th to the day he died, we get 24 weeks and 3 days. And using the alphabetic order, Eugene Arthur Okerlund equals 243. So what about this number, 243? Well, there's one date that we can also extract from this number, 24/3, or March 24th, as it's written in most parts of the world. Measuring from the date March 24th to the date he died gives us exactly 9 months and 9 days. And look at the value of Eugene Arthur Okerlund in reduction. It sums to 99. But looking back at the alphabetic order 243, if we instead measure to the next 24/3, we get 11 weeks and 4 days, a number with a 114 sequence in it. And in one of the ciphers that I consider to be most significant outside of the base 4, almost certainly the most significant outside of the base 4, we call it Jewish Gematria, which is based on the Latin alphabetic order, and this produces much larger numbers than the base ciphers, and is actually based more closely to the ancient Hebrew Gematria and Greek isopsephy charts, numbered 1 through 9, 10 through 90, and 100 through 900. Well, in Jewish Gematria, Eugene Arthur Okerlund equals 1,140, much like the 114 when we measure to the date 24/3, extracted from his alphabetic ordinal Gematria. I've also come to find that just the last name on its own is also significant when measuring from, again, the date they died to specific dates on the calendar that can be pulled from their name Gematria. So with the name Okerlund, check out the reverse order. Here we get a value of 116. If we measure to the next date, written 11/6, coming up here in 2019, we find it's exactly a span of 44 weeks. And in reverse reduction, Okerlund also equals 44. Number 44 is something we see commonly coded into killing rituals. The word kill, also 44. But this murder by numbers code also seems to take solar eclipses into account. And I believe the reason this is because this code of letters and numbers comes from the Bible. The New Testament with the Gospels is about the killing of Jesus. Jesus equals 74 in the alphabetic order, as does the word killing. Jesus died on the cross, which equals 74. They called him the Messiah, 74. Again, Gospel, 74. And the Bible is a collection of parables, which equals 74. And it's said that the crucifixion of Jesus Christ may have taken place under a total solar eclipse, which sums to 704 in our Jewish Gematria cipher. So first off, let's look at the fact that Mean Gene Okerlund died on a date with 42 numerology, 1 plus 2 plus 20 plus 19. Using the S exception, the word eclipse has gematria of 42. And if you measure from the date he died to the date of the next total solar eclipse, we find it's 181 days. 181 is the 42nd prime number, and Mean Gene Okerlund born in the year 42. But what if we instead measure to the most recent total solar eclipse, which was the Great American Eclipse on August 21st of 2017? When we include the end date, we get 71 weeks and 3 days. In English Gematria, total eclipse equals 713. And for those of you who may have missed it on the left side, the English extended method is the same as Jewish Gematria, but it uses the current present-day alphabetic order. Without the end date included, we find it was 134 days since the anniversary of that solar eclipse. And using the alphabetic order, solar eclipse sums to 134. And when we talk about eclipses, we're also talking about the intersection of the largest two circles in the sky. And this fact is coded into our language. Check out how eclipse equals 69, 33, and 120 in the three, most basic ciphers on the left here. The word circles also equals 69, 33, and 120. There's one letter in the alphabet that's drawn with just a circle. That would be the letter O, which is the 15th letter in the alphabet. And think about how this applies to Mean Gene Okerlund. We often see this with people whose last names begin with the letter O, that there's some sort of circle ritual to it, and absolutely this is the case here. So O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. And isn't it interesting that when we write out 15th, in the reverse order we get 150, just like how the 15th letter is a circle. Mean Gene Okerlund dead on the date January 2nd, which in the standard alphabetic order, where A is 1 and Z is 26, January 2nd sums to 150. This particular January 2nd had a life lesson number of 15 when you add 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9. And if you think that's interesting, how about this? Gene Okerlund, born on December 19th, which means if we measure from his most recent birthday to the date of his death, we get exactly a span of 15 days. Going back to alignments between name gematria and the calendar, I also found it pretty interesting that if we fast forward 15 weeks after his death, we arrive at the date April 16th, 15 weeks from the day he died. Now, April 16th, internationally written 16/4, like the number 164. Mean Gene Okerlund, using the alphabetic order, equals 164. In regards to the number 15 having to do with the circle, remember the circle is the 15th letter in the alphabet. When we write out the circle, we get a reduction value of 47. And 47 is the 15th prime number. We see this fact attributed in the Freemasonic emblem, which it's pretty small here on your screen, but the compass on this emblem is set to 47 degrees. Mean Gene Okerlund, born on a date with a life lesson number of 47, 12 plus 19, plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 2. If we go back 4 months, 7 days from his death, notice how we get 4 months and 7 days. Well, of course we do. We actually get the date August 26th. Sorry for the slip up there. And why would the date August 26th be significant? Well, again, Mean Gene Okerlund equals 268. And here we find 26/8, like the 26th of August. So it's interesting that he died in relation to that number as well. And a little bit more about why maybe the circle is being attributed with Mean Gene Okerlund's death. Notice how in English Extended, Mean Gene Okerlund sums to 722. And really, this is what this whole language seems to be built around. When we check out a calculator here, we find that 22 divided by 7 gives us a fairly close approximation of pi. It's the smallest equation to give us 3.14. In the language of Gematria, 22 divided by 7, using the alphabetic order, has a numeric value of 314. And this is certainly no coincidence. Think about how many degrees are in a circle, 360. This gives us the value of 227 in English ordinal. So the fact that Mean Gene Okerlund equals 722 in English Extended is indeed pretty interesting. So that'll do it for this video. If you want to see a little bit more on this death, the numerology that goes along with it, please go ahead and check my blog linked below this video. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Again, this type of content has been censored in the past, so do what you can to get the word out. These techniques that I've been using, really only fairly recently have I caught on to the fact that they're, measuring dates like this in relation to Gematria, but it proves extremely consistent from one celebrity death to the other. So, again, check my blog out for more work on potential murder by numbers. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Again, hope you all enjoy the beginning of your 2019. See ya!